Hi Maya, my name is Ellen and I'll be correcting this essay for you today. Great to see that you have submitted an essay for correction, so let's take a look at what you've written. The topic is ex-prisoners and if they're the best people to talk to young people about crime. Let's see what you wrote. It is often believed that people who were imprisoned before tend to become law-abiding citizens, and it is often argued that they are the main candidates to talk to adolescents about the risks of a crime commitment. While there might be a convincing reason in favor of this sentence, specifically for troubled teenagers, my personal opinion is that they can have a bad impact on teenagers. All right, so in a lot of ways, this is nice. In a lot of ways, there's a lot of good elements to this introduction, but there are a few things that I would recommend. One thing is regarding vocabulary, and the other thing is regarding cohesion. So I'd like to look at this paragraph again, this time correcting some of the things that I saw. So this, for example, you have the same expression twice. It is often believed, it is often argued. That's a little repetitive. And when you do something like this, you're really missing an opportunity to show some good cohesion here, okay? So let's try fixing this. And then the other thing is some of your vocabulary. Main candidates is not such a great substitution for the best people. And also crime commitment isn't really a collocation we use. I know we say to commit a crime, but we don't say crime commitment. It doesn't collocate that way, okay? So also, it's not that in favor of this sentence, all right, in favor of this method, in favor of this measure, a different word would be more appropriate here. So let's try it again, this time fixing the sentences rather, with some of the suggestions I just made. It is often believed that people who were imprisoned before tend to become law-abiding citizens and can be the most appropriate people to talk to adolescents about the risks of involvement in crime. While there might be a convincing reason in favor of this policy, specifically for troubled teenagers, my personal opinion is that it can have a bad effect on youngsters. Okay, so what I did is you could see that I substituted some of the words, I changed around some of the vocabulary, and in doing so, I made it more cohesive. Okay, so let's continue. Despite the argument below, okay, that's a little strange. We don't really do that. Usually we say despite for something that has been said already, not for something that you're going to say further down. So I would avoid this, okay? So let's see. Why don't you get rid of this whole section here, and just begin, not even with I think. I don't like I think at the beginning of a body paragraph. Why don't we just start with the statement, okay? So, former prisoners are not the best candidates to talk to youngsters about the dangers of illegal acts. The main concern is that those people who have been in prison can start talking about their personal experiences and have a bad influence on teenagers, showing them that it is possible and raising the courage to repeat the same. I don't understand that expression. Do you mean and essentially giving them the courage to commit such acts? Maybe. Therefore, they should not be talking to some children. All right. So, Maiya, this is a little underdeveloped. There's really not a lot of ideas here. And as far as I can tell, there's just 3 sentences in this paragraph. So, it definitely feels a little underdeveloped, like there was a lot more to say. And there was more to expand here. There was stuff that you needed to extend in your arguments, okay? Another point is that the conversations about damaging effects of committing crimes can have a traumatizing effect because most teenagers are completely unaware what exactly the punishment and the prison are. Let's fix this. Are completely unaware of what exactly punishment and prison are without those thes. This can lead to multiple serious mental issues among them and would need more investigation than on just a conversational level. Okay, let's see. However, having conversation with former prisoners about the risks of committing a crime could help already troubled teenage children to understand the consequences of harmful behavior. In other words, these talks would give some ideas as to how damaging it is and would prevent some of them from falling down the social ladder. In conclusion, former prisoners are not the best ones to talk to adolescent children about the risks of breaking the law, but it could help some troubled teenagers prevent them from making some harmful choices. Okay. So let's take a look at this now in its entirety. They can have a bad impact on teachers. There might be convincing reason the bad impact. Okay. So let's talk about what you did here. You decided to go with 3 body paragraphs, 2 against, and then 1 in favor. Your position here basically said that you were against this. So what we generally recommend is having 2 body paragraphs, okay? But since you decided to do it this way, let me give you some suggestions with the way you organize this. First of all, what I would have done is I would have reversed the order of your paragraphs. I would have started my body with this paragraph about the positives of prisoners, because that's the weaker paragraph. That's the paragraph you don't really support. Okay, so you start with that, and this is called a concession paragraph. So this is you showing your reader that, you know, I'm very open-minded. I can see the pros and the cons. I can see what's, you know, how complicated this issue is. Okay, and I have the broad-mindedness enough to look at it from different angles. So you start with that, and then after that, you put the paragraphs that you support, okay? So take this paragraph and put it right after the introduction. Get rid of the however. You put that right after introduction, and then this makes sense. But then you say, despite the argument above. And then you get to the section of your essay where you're really arguing what you believe. And it's better for this to come closer to the conclusion. It acts like an anchor, and it remains in the mind of the reader better, more appropriately. Okay? So that's a couple of things. Now, you saw before that I told you that I didn't really think you developed this a lot. Well, I thought you didn't develop it a lot because I didn't realize that you had another paragraph about the negatives. So it's fine. I mean, the paragraph itself is short, but you continued talking about the negatives of this in the next paragraph as well, okay? So it's fine as far as task achievement is concerned. What to me needs to be worked on is the organization of your paragraphs, the organization of your ideas, and of course, some of those cohesive elements that I talked about in the beginning. So for me, the weakest point here, if any, was your coherence and cohesion. That's one thing that I think needs to be worked on. You had some nice vocabulary. I can't say that there was anything particularly high level, but the vocabulary that you did use was appropriate. So no problems there. And the grammar was fine as well. I would like to see more work from you. I absolutely would like to see what you're doing with Task 1, because as you probably know, Task 1 has a whole list of challenges associated with it. So I'd like to see more work from you. I want you to take a look at the online course as an option. Alternatively, you can look at a package of essay correction so that we can continue to work together and give you feedback for your essays. Hopefully, we'll be able to continue working with you. I really look forward to it. And I want to wish you tons of luck with your IELTS preparation.